It is a great day to be alive, and I am so thankful for God, Jesus Christ, who lives in us. Today's video is titled April 19th, Japan, BNB Tiger, LUNC, and World War III signs. Before we get started, I'm not a financial advisor. Nothing that I'm sharing is financial advice. I'm simply sharing dreams, visions, and interpretations that I feel God's given me as it relates to crypto. Now, let's get into the video. So we want to take a look at our last final date, April the 19th, what actually happened on April the 19th. And to do that, I want to take a look at two past dreams that I had involving the colors yellow, white, and blue. And as some of you may know, these are colors that correspond with numbers that I typically use when deriving dates. If it's not a birthday or a person who seems out of place in a dream, then I look for colors and I put those with numbers to help derive dates. After going through these two dreams, I want to, in the end, make a connection on how BNB Tiger and Luna ties in with all of this. But we want to start with these two dreams. We'll go through them very quickly. These are dreams that I've shared in previous videos, so I'm not going to take a whole lot of time going through all the details. I'm just going to hit the high notes and then make a connection as we take a look back at what happened on April the 19th. Here are those two dreams. Again, we're looking at the colors yellow, blue, and white. The first one I'm calling Mixing Up War, I had on June 30th, 2024. And the other one I recently shared is titled A War Is Coming. April 24th, 2025 is when I had that dream. Both dreams had something to do with these three colors, yellow, blue, and white. So I shared that in this dream, I was mixing up pom-pom balls in a white styrofoam bowl with a white spoon. I was mixing up these pom-pom balls and I saw these three colors. Well, at this point in time in 2024, I knew what yellow and blue represented. I knew that yellow and blue meant war. These are war colors. And I tied these colors to the Ukraine flag. Later on, God would give me the understanding of what white represented. And as I began to pray and do more research, I began to look at the combination of putting these colors together, and I realized that all of the allies to the U.S. who were in a war, their flag colors could be made up using two of these colors. So the Ukraine flag, of course, is yellow and blue, and then the Israel flag is white and blue. And again, both of these countries are at war. They were in a war during that time, and they are allies to the U.S. As I began to do more research, and then I had another dream giving me some more helpful understanding on where to go with these three colors, I came across a video game called Magic War. And with this game, I came across these two shields having the same three colors. One of the images on the shield looked like something out of the book of Revelation, which gave me another lead. And the other image was the image that you would see on the Jerusalem flag, which is the lion. Now, as far as the other beast, it is called a griffin. It is made up of a combination of the eagle and the lion. This research took me to Daniel 2 and 7, where we hear about the four beasts, and then also the book of Revelation. When I began to put the two game titles side by side, Magic War and Magic World, I immediately saw the word World War. So God, are you revealing to me something about war, something about World War III? Israel will be involved. Ukraine will be involved. The U.S. will be involved because you have that combination of the lion and the eagle. And fast forwarding to where we are now, we are definitely seeing that combination of the eagle and lion fighting together in a war. But before we get ahead of ourselves, asking the question if this war between Israel, U.S. and Iran will turn into something of a World War III, we have to go to the second blue, yellow, and white dream. This is the most recent video where I shared some of this dream and a little bit what we're talking about now. But all along, going back to the beginning of my channel, my topics have been about timelines. It has been about market crash, war, and crypto as it's given to me in various ways throughout with my dreams. The backwards flag was the first indicator of a dream that I had, seeing a backwards U.S. flag, meaning marching towards war. So that was the first message. This dream brought about a second message, pinpointing something about World War. It has to be three because you can't go backwards. And so this brings us to the second dream. A war is coming. Again, April 24th, 2025. Just about a year ago, I had this dream. And in this dream, I saw two huge double doors that went from ceiling to floor. the tallest doors I have ever seen in my life. In this dream, I was spinning around in a circle. I was almost like as if I was in worship. I felt the presence of God all over me. God began to speak through me. And what I heard was the message, a war is coming. In this dream, I also knew something about a tsunami. A tsunami was coming. And then I saw at some point in this dream, WW3, and then there was something covering the back part of that. I don't know if it was covering a third number, making it World War III, but it was covered. So here again, we have this confirmation to these colors that yes, this has something to do with war. I was specifically told that a war was coming. So these colors are correct to be connected to a war. And then you have Israel plus the US, because these colors have carried over from the previous dream with the combination of the eagle and the lion. Again, you're looking at Ukraine, a new message that a war is coming. And then there's a big possibility that this dream is confirming what we saw earlier, World War, as we were looking at those shields and those images from that video game. And then the final note is a tsunami. A tsunami is coming. And so looking back at this dream this year, as the war began to progress, seeing us getting into a war in February, I began to go back and try to use these colors and derive a date. And I've already shared this before. I did the math on it. Yellow represents 40, white represents 40 weeks, blue represents 40 days. These numbers and colors were given to me in a market crash dream. That's the details of how I was able to come up with this formula in order to derive these dates. So 360 days is what I came up with. I added that to the day that I had this dream, April 24th, April the 19th. April the 19th is the birthday to the individual who was killed on the first day of Operation Epic Fury. He was the Iranian leader. His birthday is April the 19th. So things to take a look at based on this dream, making a connection, what is new. When I look at both these dreams side by side, we're looking at the tsunami is something new, and then April the 19th is something new. Everything else is pretty much confirming one dream based on the other dream. So how does this connect to BNB Tiger and LUNC and this breakout and huge price movement that we're waiting to see? One word, Pentagon. In the BNB Tiger breakout dream, the Pentagon game was very important. God led me to the first Pentagon, which had to do with the Olympics. During that time in which the Super Bowl and all of that was going on, both the Super Bowl and the Winter Olympics was advertising this Peacock series. For whatever reason, God pinpointed my eyes and focused on to this series called The Burbs. And being led to look into it, I did my research on the cast and saw that one of the cast members, his name in the show is Naveen. I had just so happened to see an article about a tiger named Naveen, and therefore I made that connection there to BNB Tiger. March the 8th was this individual's birthday. The guy who plays Naveen, his birthday is March the 8th. And so that became one of our dates on our timeline. Now, during the Super Bowl, or I should say after the Super Bowl, an article came out that had to do with Charlie Sheen, something that he had to say about the Super Bowl halftime show with Bad Bunny. When I saw Charlie Sheen, I immediately thought Iran because of my dreams that I had about the Iranian parachutes falling out of the sky. Matched a movie scene that Charlie Sheen was in. That movie was called Red Dawn. And so here we have the ground invasion of Iran, them talking about sending in paratroopers. When I saw that, somebody actually shared this with me. I thought about Red Dawn. I thought about my Iranian flag dream. And so Charlie Sheen is tied to Iran because of my parachute dream. Now, also, as I'm looking at pictures for Charlie Sheen, I came across Charlie Sheen and a tiger behind him. In addition to seeing Charlie Sheen standing in front of this tiger, there's a story that goes behind it. Charlie Sheen has his own tiger blood, quote, whatever it was he was saying had going on a few years ago. And so he's tied to this whole thing with tigers because of that. So because of the Super Bowl, because of Charlie Sheen connection to Iran, it brings in another Pentagon, that second Pentagon, the Department of War. So just like in the BNB Tiger dream, you had a Pentagon game represented by the Olympics, which is complete. And now we have a Pentagon that is ongoing, and that is the war. Again, we're looking at the eagle and the lion coming together, the U.S. and Israel within a war. And that is why we have this war on this chart of all the events, the combo events that ties in with Luna and BNB Tiger. Something else that connected this series and this individual in this show, Naveen, to BNB Tiger as well, or I should say the Pentagon, would be the date of March the 8th. March the 8th which was on our timeline, ended up being the day that the son became the successor of the father who was killed on the first day of Epic Fury, the father whose birthday is April the 19th, what we derived from the blue, yellow, and white dream. Well, his son, as we all know, became his successor on March the 8th. Again, putting us back at that Pentagon, back looking at this war in Iran. So based on how the derived dates were moving and events happening on those days having to do with, again, April 19th, the father's birthday, March the 8th, the son being named the successor, we're checking off all these things from these dreams. The only thing that stands out is the question about World War III and now the tsunami. Well, if we go back to the beginning, the very first video that I shared, it was around that time when Kraken was going to delist Luna. God gave me some things. He showed me something that I shared in this video titled Crossing Paths, Luna Timeline, and the Market Crash. And how that the market crash, I really felt that God was telling me that the market crash is not going to affect Luna. When you see the market crash, that is the time we should look for Luna to take off. Getting back to this particular video back in December, this had to do with Japan. In addition to that, on another derived date, as it had to do with Luna, specifically the Luna Mama dream, there was major news that came out about Japan on that day. So now I am ready to add Japan to the combo list of events connecting Japan to Luna. And then if that wasn't enough, on March 19th, which was another derived date, which happened to be the end of Ramadan. And on that day, March the 19th, the Prime Minister was in Washington. And the conversation, as we see here in this article, the Prime Minister had to explain to Trump that her country cannot join him in the Iran war. So now we have Luna and we have BNB Tiger because of the Pentagon Iran war all in one setting. And so getting back to our list again, the only thing now that has not been accounted for is the tsunami. And on Monday, April the 20th, 2026, there was a 7.5 major earthquake that happened in Japan. This earthquake happened at 4:53 p.m. That is important because Japan is 13 hours ahead of us. 4:53 p.m. In Japan is April the 19th, 3:53 a.m. in the U.S. So it's important to note that. So although April the 19th was the birthday of the previous Iranian leader, it is also the day that a major earthquake happened in Japan. And because of this major earthquake, there was a tsunami alert that went out at the same time, moments after the earthquake took place. And so what this does is tells a timeline that on April the 19th, a tsunami would happen. And because we've taken things from crypto and we've taken things from the war and we've put things together based on how God has been giving it to us, the understanding that he's been given to us about these pentagons, it's just been piecing itself together since 2024 when I had the first dream. This has all been coming together and now I can see it. The only thing that's left is the confirmation about this World War III. World War III. Will what we're in now, the U.S. Joining in with Israel against the Iran in this particular war, will this be something that's going to eventually turn into a World War III? That is the question. Again, in that dream, the back part of that was covered. I saw WW, I saw the one, I saw the second one. I did not see what was behind that covered in. Again, going back to the first blue, yellow, and white dream, magic world, magic war. I saw the message world war. So I don't know if this again is confirmation that we're getting ready to, this thing is about to escalate. If what's going to happen on the 21st is going to be an escalation or if it's going to be the end of it. So far, we've gone through this dream. So much of this dream has manifested before our eyes. We're seeing a lot of things going on with Luna, the bees. All these things are signs of confirmation to keep our faith where it needs to be as we're waiting for all this to transpire. Every date has served its purpose. Every date has come with something in connection to BNB Tiger and Luna. God has been faithful with sending us all these signs of confirmation. At this point, I am just sitting back waiting to see what is going to transpire on the 21st. Because at this point, we can see how all of this is connected to this war. Well, that is all that I have for this video. Until the next one, God bless.